Going.
Mr. Boyd, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you
The
for
Daily
having
Herald
me.
today. So tell me, how's the campaign going?
Campaign is going well. It's a lot of hard work, but I anticipated that we have about 3 weeks or 3 weeks and a half now to get things working. So it's a lot of knocking on doors, speaking to residents, and getting the word out that there is a second election.
So again, I was not here, so kind of give me the general, what you've never run for elected office, so why choose this year? Why run against an incumbent? Kind of who put the bug in politics for you?
Sure. I responded to a call to serve. I serve on a lot of boards here locally, and a lot of residents and leaders actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, we recommend that you consider serving at a higher capacity, considering your understanding of issues." And so I took it into consideration and determined that I would go ahead and do it.
Was there any one particular person that kind of put that bug in?
There was family, people in the neighborhood, like I said, a bunch of leaders, people who just know me and know my drive and my interest in the city and how things operate.
Okay. So let's move to everyone's favorite topic, road repairs.
Yes.
I know this is a big issue here in the city. Following not this Tuesday, but last week's council meeting, Mayor Segarra talked about how important funding road repairs is going to be for this particular council.
Sure.
A few different ideas have kind of been floated on how to deal with this, what is a $160 million tab. So if elected, how would you approach funding road repair?
Well, absolutely. I'm a strong advocate for road repairs, and it's a major priority for myself. In fact, last week I damaged my truck on a road that's damaged on Elms Road, right there in District 4. So it's personal. I know they're kind of piecemealing it because we don't have a lot of financing for it, but there's a lot of work that has to be done to ensure we have that financing. We may have to consider several options. The council will ultimately make those decisions.
I know one of the issues that's been talked about among council members, and you hear it in the community as well, is a bond. Is that something that you would be for or against?
At the end of the day, we need to hear from the residents and how they feel about that. There's already some bonds that are, in effect now that are still in the back of people's minds, and so council at the end of the day will reach out to the constituents and get their advice or their input. But at the end of the day, council absolutely has to make that decision.
Okay.
It may come to that point, but we'll see.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about crime, which is also another big topic. It was another big topic in the general election. Killeen is in the top 10 most dangerous cities in Texas. I believe that was a 2019 study. This has been an issue for decades. It's continued to rise.
Sure.
Police are taking the lead in kind of fighting and investigating. What policies or laws do you feel that the council can put into place to maybe help decrease crime?
I think looking at the policies is a great idea to see how we can improve them, perhaps add additional policies. My personal focus is crime prevention.
Okay.
Crime prevention would do a lot. That's something you can work with the police department on, work with the citizens with, and create initiatives that work to reduce crime.
Is there something maybe specifically in District 4 that you would have thought about?
Sure. So in District 4, there's a lot of talk. I spoke to a lot of residents about the lack of a way to slow people down flying through the neighborhoods.
Okay.
There's talk of a lack of police patrol in District 4, as well as a dedicated youth facility for the young people so they are not so much on the streets, if you will. But I also have an idea for an initiative. That initiative is bringing business owners, residents, as well as institutional representatives together to discuss crime and come up with methods that they can contribute to reduce the crime, particularly in the district. I know the city is working also on an overall plan to reduce crime, but I believe also the district level, another layer of that would be beneficial.
So one of the council members that's currently on council and a now former council member had talked about funding for the police. The staff on the police department is not as great as it used to be.
Sure.
Is that something that you would support as well as a potential measure to reducing crime?
Absolutely. Public safety is everything. That's a pillar of maintaining the city. So absolutely, yes.
Okay. Moving over to economic development, which is not quite as sexy of a topic, but just sticking with the citywide, the economy in Texas is absolutely booming.
Sure.
Austin metro area, which is not that far from here, we're 30 minutes to an hour away, is seeing unprecedented growth and development. Yet the economy here in Killeen seems fairly stagnant. Development is very limited. What do you think are the obstacles to growth here?
Sure. So economic development here in Killeen has been an issue for our community for years. I believe to spur economic development is going to take the council forecasting a direction for economic development. I believe we can do a better job capitalizing on our strengths, working to position ourselves in a better position for the future, as well as establishing better opportunities for the workforce that's here.
Okay. Um, maybe get more specific. Like, what role do you think that the council can play in helping that economy grow?
Sure. So the council, in a way, oversees the EDC.
Okay.
Now we know historically the EDC has been asking for additional funding, but I think that's a conversation that needs to go into what are the managed expectations for that. It's important that we're attracting industry and able to retain, and so there's things that the council can keep an eye on or monitor with managed expectation to kind of get us to where we need to be. I will say I did speak with some staff at the chamber. They're working hard with the resources that they have. They have great initiatives, but again, implementation is everything. It may take additional funding, but we need to have an understanding on both sides on how we will get to the results we need to be at in a particular time frame.
Okay. 70% of the buildings in downtown sit empty. That's a statistic I pulled that I think was from last year. Do you feel the city needs to maybe reinvest in downtown development? Is that something that the council can help facilitate?
Absolutely. Focusing on our downtown is important. Obviously, it's underutilized and it looks like something from a long time ago. There's no real development that's happening there. So focusing primarily on downtown and the north side is something that the council is already doing, and I believe with the comprehensive plan in place, we're going to focus even more on it. There's also attention from the residents who are participating in the comprehensive plan on what's going on downtown, and they're putting their voices together on how they kind of have a vision for it as well.
Yeah, the comprehensive plan is very interesting to me. I love
interesting.
That. You mentioned in one of your emails talking about the growth in your particular district, District 4.
Sure.
I know a lot of the growth has kind of been happening in that area. What do you feel is the reason for that, and maybe what would you do as the representative in that area to keep it going?
Sure. I think the planning efforts were spot on with District 4. I don't think it was expected for it to build out the way it is. Sure, we could use more industry and commercial out there, but that's one of the fastest growing areas in Killeen, highest earning and fastest growing, as I mentioned. District 4 has so many residents and so many homes and so many roads that need to be maintained, and the city is doing the best they can with the resources we have for that fast growing area.
Any plans to help continue the growth down there?
Sure. I'm glad you asked that. Yes, what we have to do is focus on land use in District 4. I know there's not much we can do with design standards because of the state, but as far as architectural landscaping standards, there's some things we should do to change the look of District 4 because it is, in a way, the most popular district in Killeen, the fastest growing, the fastest moving, and the way District 4 goes, the way the rest of the city is likely going to follow.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I kind of forgot your question while you were talking. So
no, that's okay. So there's been some discussion about the representative for District 4 being available to the constituents. You and I kind of talked about this a little bit. How will you balance having a full-time job and being available to your constituents?
Absolutely, sure. So I benefit from having flexibility with my work, which allows me to be available and to be accessible as well. Those things are important. I'm planning to make time blocks available throughout the week so I can speak to residents in person. Of course, as you know, the city provides a cell phone and an email address to correspond, but I believe in being in person. It's just like walking the neighborhoods I've been doing recently. That's important. That's how you know exactly what's going on and what all can be done about it being on the council potentially.
All right. I've kind of brought up a number of issues, but what have I not asked? What issues do you feel are important in the election that I haven't talked about?
Absolutely. So I think the growth for the rest of the city is important, balanced growth. Downtown is suffering in many ways and District 4 is thriving in a way. I think it's important that we find a way to balance the two. I'm not one to say that I believe District 4 should have all the resources and grow out of control and then we, negate what's going on in the rest of districts.
Right.
That's not how things should go. There's a way to balance it, and I think council can take a look at policies to make sure that we're also driving economic development in a balanced way in all districts throughout the city.
Any other topics?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So I guess for the final question, 30 to 60 seconds. Give your elevator pitch to the voters.
Sure. So my name is Michael Boyd. I'm running for Killeen City Council District 4. I'm a decisive thinker. District 4 deserves a strong advocate. And I believe in the city. I believe in the district. I understand our issues. I understand the broader community. I'm available. I'm accessible. And I'm ready to get to work on behalf of the residents of District 4 and the city of Killeen.
All right, so I'm fairly new to town. I've only been here a couple weeks. I have not spent a lot of time in District 4. So tell me about the district.
Sure. So District 4 is the fastest earning, fastest growing, and the largest populated district in all of the four Killeen districts. District 4 is essentially the west portion of Killeen. A lot of people think it's south or southwest. It's absolute west portion of Killeen. It's essentially the 76549 zip code. District 4 has a lot going for itself. We host CTC, Texas A&M University, 10 schools, a post office, the airport, a hospital, two major grocers, a regional trail. We have a lot going on over there in proximity to Fort Hood by 3 access points, as well as direct access to 195 to Austin. So proximity is everything in District 4. So that's one thing that's exciting about the district.
So tell me, what are the challenges that you see in District 4?
Sure, now District 4 also has challenges. We have flooding that we experience at Bunny Trail and Stan Schluter, major flooding when we get a lot of rain. We need a traffic light at the corner of Robinette and Watercrest, as well as Bunny Trail and 201. Heard from a lot of residents, potential accidents there. There's rising crime as well, that has not changed. And you know, the young people need a facility in District 4. I keep hearing that. We need a library eventually. You know, at some point, District 4 is going to need another fire station. The growth is booming out there, and over time, there will be a demand for those things. One thing I've been letting the residents know, and I'm hearing from them as well, is I'm going to be advocating for a large park. There is no large park in that fast-growing, high-populated district. And so we need something larger than Long Branch or perhaps Lions Park to facilitate recreational services out there. And I believe that's something that can happen for sure.
Will those be, I know budget talks are going to be coming up. You may, if elected, could be coming in like right before those budget talks.
Sure.
Are those kind of things that you'll be advocating for as the budget goes forward?
Absolutely, but at the same time, understanding that we can't take away from immediate needs in a lot of the other districts. You know, some things will take a little time, but I will be absolutely advocating for that large park, that youth facility, a library eventually, and at some point, we'll need a fire station. Those four things are very important to me for West Killeen.
Okay. Kind of just maybe elaborate on that a little bit. Talk about maybe broader brush. What issues are the most important to you?
Sure. So most important to me over the next 25 and 50 years are what they're working on now at this point to establish at the city level. The city's engaging a comprehensive plan, Parks Master Plan. They're going to be revisiting the charter here soon. We have an airport master plan, and the city's got to grow. And then we have the ethical standards that's being discussed right now. Those are going to determine how the city looks and how we operate going forward. It is vital that someone is in there who is analytical, who understands the issue, who's a decisive thinker to contribute to these conversations and be looking out for the entire community as a whole. That is absolutely vital.
Do you think this is like a kind of a change point for Killeen in the
This
city
is
district?
a pivotal point for Killeen, and I've been communicating that, and that's another reason why I'm running. We surpassed 150,000 individuals. We're at a place where things are going to take off. We see the growth that's happening in Austin. Some of that's going to extend up this way, and we're already starting to see the effects of that. So we have to be poised in the right position to complement the growth, as well as ensure economic development and support our small businesses, because we have a ton of them in Killeen, as well as our nonprofit organizations who are working to be more active in the community. So there's a balance that has to be met. There's a strong council in place already, which I'm grateful for. I just think we need the last piece to make sure that things do go the direction they need to go.
Okay. Well, Mr. Boyd, I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thanks.